Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Becca and this is my channel where we talk about all the houseplant things. And today we have some plant chores to do and I am going to start off with watering, and that is like the #1 thing that I have to do today. And I'm filming because I think that'll motivate me to actually do it. Yeah, I procrastinate watering like all the time, especially when I'm in a mood where I'm like not super into houseplants, which I'm currently in, and I talked about this in a separate video, so I don't need to go too far into that. But you know, my love of houseplants, well, I always love houseplants, but like my big excitement to like take care of them and like do things with them comes and goes, and we're definitely in a ebb and flow. What is ebb and wave? I don't remember. We're in a time where I'm not super into it. So anyway, we're gonna do some plant chores, starting with watering. Probably will repot some things, but I wanted to show you guys, I finally hung up curtains in this room. And this is my kitchen, by the way, obviously, stove. But if you've been following my channel for like maybe like a year, you'll remember that anytime winter comes around, filming in my kitchen is really hard because the sun is just like streaming in so hard. And it's just, you can't see me because there's streaks and like the sun is in my eyes. And so I finally put these up. And also it's great for privacy because my house feels like a fishbowl at night because we have huge windows and no window treatments, which is fine because we live in the middle of the woods. Like we don't necessarily need to hide ourselves from passerbyers, but it is nice to feel like I can like walk around in my underwear at night if I want and not have to worry about someone standing outside of my window and me not seeing them. Should I put that on the internet? I don't know. Anyway, let's start some watering. I always keep plants that I have to keep an eye on around my kitchen sink because I'm always in here doing dishes or cooking, or I just like to look out the window. I just find myself in this area a lot, and so if I have plants that are new propagations or sort of in a recovery stage, I will make these the plants that are on this little plant island in here. And I like having this tray. This was like something left by the previous owner of my house. I don't even know what it was originally, like a shelf or something, but I like having this little tray here because it creates a separate space in my mind where plants go. Like plants are only on this thing on my counter, and it just helps separate. Since I'm over here, I want to update you on some things that I'm propagating. So this Hoya polyneura is looking okay. Like I honestly can't tell if it's alive. It's still green. I don't see any pops of new growth occurring. So I just don't know. Like the leaves are still wrinkly and the substrate has been staying wet, so I don't really know. It looks stable. The little top that I accidentally cut off from my macrophyllum? Frosted heart. It's a frosted heart. It's doing okay. It looks like really droopy, so I don't really know. Like we're definitely gonna lose all of the lower leaves, but I think that's just because it's putting energy into rooting, which is fine. But I am still so bummed that this happened because it really sets the plant back quite a bit. But I'm confident that it'll be okay. I think that if I put it in like leca or soil or spag, it would root a lot better. So I'm probably going to switch that over today. I do have leca. I just found like a couple little bags of it, so I might try that. Although I don't have a lot of experience rooting in leca, I think I might try it anyway. And then my little cuttings of linearis, a lot of them aren't doing like great. They're like looking crusty. So I'm just gonna go through and like pick anything that looks crusty or yellow away and then hope for the best with everything else. I do need to do a much better job of keeping this moist because I can tell that it's dried out and probably has been for a few days, but I'm just really bad at remembering to keep things moist, which is why I put this one in this situation. So I honestly might switch this, we'll see. But yeah, I am losing like, let's say like 20% of what I put in. But I think it'll be worth it even if I only get a couple pieces to root, because this would be a pretty full plant when it does like fully grow in, but it's just getting it to that point. I think is gonna be a little bit hard, but I don't see any new growth happening. And I do think that if I put it in like a bag where it was getting much more humidity, that would probably be better. So I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put these two in a bag and see if that helps. We might as well water the cabinet while we're here, and I have to say that watering the cabinet has been a much faster experience lately. I don't really know what it is. I think I'm just getting in a groove, and I'm doing it more often too, so I don't know, maybe it just doesn't feel as daunting because I am doing it like, let's say every 4 to 5 days, and about every other time I water, I will wash all of the saucers, and this time I went the extra mile and I grabbed these little trays that I put plants in as well on the pegboard. I don't always wash those, but I do try to make sure that these saucers stay clean, and I'll also take some spray and wipe down the glass on the inside. I think that when your plant spaces are clean, it just makes it look so much better because obviously it's cluttered. I think we've passed the point of clutter at this, like in this cabinet, which I originally did not want to do. But I realized how helpful it was to help my plants grow, especially these types of plants like my anthurium and my alocasia. I won't say that they're all thriving in the cabinet, but they all look better than they would if they were not in the cabinet. You know what I mean? So anyway, once everything is finished watering up and cleaned, I will put all of the plants back, and the humidity usually rises quite a bit after this happens because all of the saucers are wet, all of the plants have been freshly watered, so it's really nice. And then once the humidity starts to drop, that's when I know that it's time to water again. And I'm actually surprised by how quickly these plants dry out, but I think it really is just that consistent light, and I don't know, they just love it in there. Next up, I need to clean out this little this little like light dome area. I have some of my propagations in here as I showed you, and it's nice because there's a light right over it, so I know that they're getting plenty. Even though it's in this south window, I know that it's not getting enough like for a fresh propagation, in my opinion. So I actually grabbed this 2-gallon bag, and whenever I'm using a 2-gallon bag, I just turn it on its side, and then I put the plants in just like this long ways. And I made sure that this would be the right length for this little house, this little lighthouse, and I blow a little air in it, and then I put it in, and it's really easy. And I still have room for the syngonium in there. I needed to finish up a bit more watering from a repotting video that I did, and we have a lot more watering ahead of us because check it out, it's a new day and I'm still watering plants. So I'm actually getting the flooring replaced in the upstairs of the house because it's old carpet and it's stinky, and we just needed a change, and we finally decided to just do it. So I'm not able to have audio over this, and I was really nervous about how this would go. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the voiceover because this is going to be a voiceover video for the rest of this time. If you want to know what I'm hearing as I'm, watering my plants, I'll give you a little sneak peek right here. The dogs are handling it okay. Cooper is definitely very scared, and Leo is chill. He's always very chill. He's not really bothered by much. But anyway, you can see that I'm using my Plantipotty in this plant room. I used to take all of these plants to the kitchen sink to water them. I just filmed a different video and I talked about this. I don't know if it's faster to use the Plantipotty in here or it's faster to water the plants in the sink, because over the sink I can use my Plantfolio and I can fit 6 plants on each side, usually more, so I can water 6 plants at once. And with the Plantipotty, I can only water 3 to 4, usually more 2, depending on the size of the plant. So I am curious to know what is actually faster in the end, but I will say that doing it this way feels a lot better, but there is a lot more downtime. I mean, I don't even know what I'm looking at here. I'm totally zoning out. But yeah, there's lots of downtime in between because I have to wait for the plants to completely drain out, especially the ones that hang because they don't have a saucer to drain into. And there is oftentimes a little bit of drippage, if you will, down onto the lower plants, which I don't really mind that much at all, especially if it lands in that plant's soil, because all of the plants on the bench have a saucer. So if there is excess water, it'll fall into the saucer. But yeah, I'm able to move the bottom layer plants back onto the bench a lot faster. So it's really just the wall part that takes a long time. And I still haven't filled up the third row of wall plants. And honestly, I don't know if I ever will. I know, and it looks kind of weird that it's bare, but I just don't know if I will, because it would need to be a bunch of very small plants, and I'd have to go and buy all of those plants or propagate them from my collection. And propagations, especially when they're new, they need a lot of attention. And if they're on the wall, I'm probably going to forget about them, you know? A lot of these plants get neglected to the point of like very curly leaves. As you can see with this Synapsis, it's very thirsty. But it is one of the plants that alerts me that the wall is thirsty, because I mean, a lot of them will tell me, but I mean, I also have a lot of Hoyas up there, so I don't always notice when a Hoya is super thirsty. So it is good that I have like the Micans and the Syndapsis and the, you know, leafy plants to guide me in when to water, because yeah, it really sometimes feels like out of sight, out of mind. Plants sort of feel like art, so I kind of forget like, oh, I should water these, especially when I'm in a phase where I'm not really into houseplants like I currently am, which I always want to normalize. I really want to normalize that. This very, very cute string of watermelon Dischidia is so cute. I mean, I pulled this off, and when I was editing, I just could not stop looking at how beautiful that is. When I'm watering it and caring for the plant, it doesn't really seem all that exciting to me, but then I actually see it through a camera lens on my computer, and it's just so beautiful. And here's a little interlude. What am I thinking about? I'm thinking about how tired I am and how I've already been doing this for like 2 hours and we're not even halfway done. Just kidding. It had probably been like 45 minutes at this point. I think it does take like a full 2 hours to water everything in this room. And I actually didn't have to water the shelf because I watered that a few days ago, prepping because I knew that I was going to have to water the wall soon, and I didn't want to have to water everything all at once. So I did help myself in that, but I would like to have like the bench on its own schedule, the wall on its own schedule, the shelf on its own schedule. And so far, not so good. They're all on the same schedule, besides the shelf now. Baby steps, you know? But that is one of my biggest pieces of advice. If you have a lot of plants, don't put them all on the same watering schedule. For the love of God, don't do that, because it is so horrible when you have to do it all at once. Anyway, oh man, is this voiceover like so negative? I think it is. I don't really know how to make it positive. I love my plants, obviously. I'm taking care of them. But this is one of those moments where I'm just not there. So anyway, thank you for hanging out with me on this voiceover. The installation crew has left, and I can now talk to you without feeling weird. But I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this video and hanging out with me. It has felt like a very long 2 days doing these chores, and there's definitely more to come. So stay tuned. I will round up even more houseplant chores to do. Honestly, the only reason that this stuff is getting done is because I need videos. So I hope that you enjoy. Thank you for keeping me motivated, and I hope that it gets you motivated. I don't know if there's anybody else out there who is like not feeling it right now with houseplants. If you are out there not feeling it, just know that you're not alone. I am here. But either way, we gotta get them watered, we gotta get them cared for to endure this winter and all the things. Actually, one good thing about winter is that you're not gonna have to water your plants as often, because likely they're going to be getting a little bit less sun, so they're gonna be using a little bit less energy, so they're not gonna be going through that water as often. Unless your house gets really, really dry in the winter, then your soil will probably still be drying out at a normal rate, like mine. My soil in this room doesn't take as long to dry out, but in other parts of my home, man, it is fast because we have a wood stove fireplace and it is dry. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.